What's up, Disney Nuts here. How you guys doing? So today I'm going to show you how I fix these guys. Pretty cool, right? So this is actually Pandora, the world of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and it is an awesome spot for night photography, long exposures, and then other fun stuff, as you can see. Of course, it's another planet after all. Now I wanted to do these quick videos that show some basic common things that happens to me all the time when I'm taking photography around the parks, and this is one that always bugs me, and I just wanted to share with how I usually deal with this and fix the issue of the skies in this area. So without further ado, we're going to head into the computer. We're going to be using Adobe Lightroom for this, but if you have any other program, you could basically follow along with the same techniques they're going to be using. So without further ado, let's head into the computer. Now what you're seeing here is actually the finished file. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. Sky looks great. There's no surprises. And I'm going to show you now. Here is the original file as it came out of the camera. As you can see, the skies are a little bit they're not necessarily blue, so we're going to show you how to fix that right away. Now when it comes to editing the photo, I'm just going to do a quick edit here because I don't want to take much of the time here on editing this. We want to focus more on the skies, and also when it comes to editing the photo, I want you guys always to put your touch to it, because that's what makes the photography fun, when you put your style to the photo. And you can do stuff like the sharpening a little bit, maybe a little noise reduction, you know, a little color, whatever you like, however it looks good to you. Now let's go ahead and jump into the part of the sky. Now as you can see, the color of the sky is somewhat like a darkish color, but it's not really blue, so we're going to go ahead and actually paint over it. And Lightroom has a tool that you can actually paint over certain areas of the photo, and we're going to do that by hitting the K, and the K is going to bring up what is called the masks tool, and this allows me to paint on certain areas of the photo with the settings that I want it, separate to what the settings that it already has. Now when I do that, it's going to give me like a plus sign, and here we have the options to select a brush, a linear gradient, or a radial gradient. We're going to go with the brush, which allows us to literally paint. Now when it comes to that, you'll see you have some options here, and the size of the brush that you're going to be using, the feather, which is how much it's going to like fade out into the edges of the paintbrush, and the flow, as well as the density. Now as for the size, I would put something a little small, and doesn't have to be something big, because we're going to paint over it once and then we're going to go back into the details. Now very important, we do need to turn on the auto mask, and what the auto mask does is that we're painting, it's going to try to look for lines, and whatever's inside those lines is going to try not to paint it. Not perfect, but it does help when we start going into the details. So turning that on, and then I'm going to come here to my settings, and I'm going to put the temperature all the way to the left, which means I want it to be as cool, in this case blue, as possible. So using my brush, I'm just going to click here and paint over the sky, and you can see quickly how it starts to change colors. Now don't worry if we paint a little bit over certain things like bushes and stuff like that. We'll go back and fix this in a second, but I just want to go ahead and do like the first pass, like I call it, where I go in and I just you know, cover everything at least with a first blanket of color. Then if for any reason I need to go back, I can actually click the erase button here, and you'll see that my my brush will now have a minus, and what that means is whatever I paint is going to be removed from the mask. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on that as well, and I'm going to paint this time over the mountain and remove the colors of it. And if those, and you can also turn on what is here, which is to show the mask, which is to show what we painted, and that allows you to actually assist when you're removing stuff. So here I could see on the mountain I have some red, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it using my the same tool, but in this case using the erase option, and just a little bit. In the case of the trees, it's okay if you get some of the edges like that, because it's not going to look bad. And there we go. Now when it comes to the mountain, like I'm doing here, it's okay if you don't go all the way to the edge, because sometimes when you go to the edge and then you start hitting the sky, then you start erasing the sky, and then you're like in that back and forth. So you want to leave an edge. It's always nothing wrong with that. And if I turn my mask off, you'll see I got a nice blue sky here. And then another thing that I'll do is, I could call it my second pass, I'll go back to my brush tool and I'll make it even smaller. But in this case, instead of just painting like crazy, I'll go in and tap, something like fill in the spots here. And here, for example, I see these spots here that needs filling in, and I just go in and tap on it a couple times, and I see here another one right here, a couple spots here. And this is how I fix those little touches. And there you go, there's our sky. Now if you want to do something even more extreme, you can even come to here and where is the color and actually select the color, and you can even make the sky even darker if you want to do it. And if you want to go even lighter, you can do that as well. If you want to make some weirder colors in there, and you can go ahead and select that as well. Another thing I would sometimes do is bring down the black, and that will make it a little bit deeper, the deeper blue if you want to. And let me fix in some spots here. That's it. There you go. Hey guys, so that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick tips and quick fix of how to deal with the skies in Pandora. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel. It keeps these videos flowing and it keeps us going and get these videos out there for more of you guys to be able to see. Until then, stay awesome.